Welcome to the Burnout Recovery Podcast, a guiding resource dedicated to healthcare professionals on their journey to overcoming burnout. Spearheaded by Dr Jo Braid, a certified professional coach and rehabilitation physician.
Welcome back to the Burnout Recovery Podcast. I'm Dr. Jo Braid, and today we're celebrating something pretty special.
Mum, can I tell everyone the exciting news?
Of course, go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm Lachy. This is episode 150. Can you believe it? That's 150 times my mum has helped people feel better. And there are 149 episodes you can already listen to if you want to catch up. That's so many. I think we should all celebrate because 150 episodes is huge. So wherever you are right now, maybe you're driving to work or going for a walk or cooking, can you give yourself a little celebration? Maybe do a happy dance or clap your hands or just smile really big. Mum works really hard to help doctors and nurses feel less tired and stressed, and I'm super proud of her. So thank you for listening and being part of our podcast family.
Thanks so much, Lockie. That was amazing.
You're welcome. Now, I'm going to go play whilst you do your doctor talk.
So there you have it. We already are at episode number 150. And boy, when I started this podcast nearly 3 years ago, I never imagined we'd reach this milestone. It's a testament to the approach I take called imperfect consistency. Showing up, getting started, even when it's not perfect, and reaching out for support from my amazing team at Pro Podcast Productions, who have been my anchors, my top and tailors of these podcast episodes since the start. So on this episode, number 150, it's pretty close to my heart because I guess it's a topic that many of us can wrangle with at stages in our career, the inability to say no to extra work. Looking back, I honestly wonder how I ever had the energy for what I was doing. I was working full-time as a rehabilitation medicine registrar, which was demanding enough. But I also had taken on an additional job doing GP registrar house calls in the evening. Picture this, I'd finish a full day in rehab medicine, then drive around doing house calls until late at night. I actually had a driver, which was amazing, but still I was very much on call for about 4 hours in the evenings. I was essentially working 2 jobs simultaneously. And look, at the time, I didn't have family responsibilities, so I told myself I could handle it. I was young, ambitious, and I thought more work meant more success. But as you know, with these things, my body was keeping score, even if my mind wasn't ready to acknowledge it yet. I really did struggle with, fatigue and sometimes exhaustion in those weeks and months and years, really running on adrenaline and caffeine. And I really remember that sense of I was always on, never truly resting, never fully present anywhere because I was always thinking about the next patient, the next call, the next shift. And so when you are doing this sort of juggle, you can be so in the middle of it. And that's what I often see with people who I work with coming out of burnout. You're not enjoying any of the roles that you have really because you're feeling spread so thin. And I wasn't really being the doctor I wanted to be in either role because of that exhaustion that I had in the daytime role as well as the evening role. And I guess it would have been great to have some of the mindset tools that I do have now. However, back then there came a point where I realized saying yes to everything meant saying no to excellence in anything. So I've got a brief framework that you could use here to really think about what you are saying yes to and thereby what you are saying no to. And this is all around boundary setting, aiming to do it without the guilt, because so many of us wrangle with the anticipated guilt by saying no to somebody to do some task. So here is the CARE framework for you. With the C, we've got clarify your capacity. And as I shared in my story there, one's capacity changes with our life circumstances. Back then, without family responsibilities, my capacity was different. Now I balance my clinical work with keynote speaking, and I've had to honestly assess what I can commit to while still being present for my family. And I track not just my time, but my energy and my emotional availability. Two other really important sort of currencies that we need to think about as well. For the A, we've got acknowledge the request. So when someone invites me to speak at a conference or take on additional clinical work like a locum, I acknowledge their request really genuinely. I'm so honored you thought of me for this opportunity. And that shows respect for their invitation while I consider my response, buying yourself a bit of time. The R is respond with respect. You don't need elaborate justifications. You can say things, or I might say things like, I'm not available for that engagement as I'm already at capacity this year. And I have pulled out that line quite a few times. People are like, oh, do you think you could do some speaking gigs? I'm like, well, I'm ready for 2026, but 2025 is full. And while I love doing speaking engagements, they really often do take me away from my family. And the E for the care framework is engage in solutions when appropriate. So sometimes we can help without overcommitting. So I might say something like, I can't take on that speaking engagement, but I know Dr. Smith does excellent work in this area. Or I can't commit to the full conference, but I could do a virtual presentation if that would be helpful. So now let's address that little voice that might be echoing in your head. But this is such a great opportunity, but they really need me, particularly for those of you in clinical roles getting asked to do extra shifts. Here's what I've realized. Every opportunity feels urgent and important in the moment. But when you're constantly saying yes, you're not just exhausting yourself, you're actually diminishing the quality of what you can offer. And I believe the speaking engagements I do now are so much better because I'm fully present, I'm well prepared, I'm energized, I can see my improv and spontaneous reactions to the discussions I guess we have are so much richer than that sort of frayed, spread thin person that I have been previously. I believe my clinical work is more focused because I'm not mentally juggling multiple commitments. And most importantly, when I'm home with my family, I'm actually there, not thinking about the next presentation or the extra shifts I've committed to. So boundaries do look different at different life stages, and that's okay. The key is being honest about your current capacity, not your theoretical capacity. So here's your reflection question for this week. What's one shift or request you wish you had said no to this month? Think about it honestly. What was the cost to your energy, your relationships, your well-being? And more importantly, what would saying no have allowed you to say yes to instead? As we close out this episode, thank you so much for being a part of the audience to get this podcast up to episode 150. I really appreciate that you take the time to listen to these episodes every week, and I see the number of you listening every week increases. Over 300 listens per episode is incredible. I really hope these tools help you create the sustainable career that you deserve. Remember, saying no isn't about limiting yourself. It's about choosing where to invest your finite energy so you can show up as your best self. Until next time, take care of yourself so you can take care of others. Cheers! Ready to take the next step in your burnout recovery journey? Visit drjobraid.com for free resources, all 150 plus podcast episodes, and information about my keynote speaking. Links are in the show notes. Your well-being matters. Protect the asset that is you.